Rejuvenating Your Amazing Mind training for Wednesday. It is April 8th, 2026. This is our 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time edition. I'm your moderator, Stanley Green. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you had a wonderful holiday weekend. I'm going to check one thing before we move into our Q&A mode. Yep, had that. And for those of you celebrating, so you had a great Easter, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday over the weekend.
Q&A session has started.
And for those of you who are celebrating Passover, I hope that you are enjoying Passover, which ends tomorrow. So with all the things in the world going on, there's still so much that we can be grateful for. And this is the opportunity to kind of plug in and make sure that if we are a little disoriented as a result of events in the world, events that may be happening in our lives, that there's hope. But most importantly, that we have this opportunity with Power Thinking to every week rejuvenate this amazing tool that we have, our minds, and that we can bounce back from any adversity, big or small. Really happy that you're with us. The goal is to help you to retrain your brain, and it's always good to get that reinforcement for those folks who were into March Madness. It is just amazing for Dr. Ackman, who's on, and myself. We were teammates on a team that went to the Sweet 16 in March Madness, and then we lost to Duke by 4. And Duke went on to the championship game. And no matter how great the season is, and how teams come together and have great success, only one team can walk away from the season and from March Madness, the tournament, the NCAA tournament, feeling good. Everyone else feels badly about what happened. And there are even coaches, and we saw over the weekend where one team won 54 straight games, and they were expected to take it all and win it all, and they were knocked out of the tournament. And we saw, talk about what we do with Power Thinking, we saw emotions and negative emotions erupt. And it was very unfortunate, but these are the things that happen. So we want to focus on emotions, the 5 big negative emotions. We shared a video with you called Coping Skills for Kids. Yeah, I know we're all adults here, but guess what? We were kids. And even as adults, it doesn't guarantee that we have mastered skills necessary, as we saw with a very experienced coach over the weekend, a very successful coach who took his team, many teams, over 40 years, to great heights. We can lose it. And we heard, examples of, what we heard were triggers, what he felt were the trigger for the anger. And in our minds, even though we may have trouble with our own emotions, he was saying, "Oh, come on now, it wasn't that. There was a root cause there somewhere, but it wasn't that." So, we all could use each week, a dose of what we do here with Power Thinking to ensure that we are moving along, and so when those adversities hit, we are ready. I want to say good morning to, and by the way, folks, if you're on the phone lines, feel free to hit that *6. What do you think about the video that we shared? It was a 5.5-minute video intended for kids, but it really got into it. But if you were to pull back and say, okay, what were the key takeaways from this video about regulating emotions? Remember, that's our resilience inner strength number 1. What would they be? So good morning, Leslie. Good to see you from Raleigh, North Carolina. We also have on LinkedIn, Andre Bright. Andre, good to see you. It's good afternoon where Andre is, and he is joining us from London. Good to see you, Andre. And we also have Blessing, who's joining us, and it's good afternoon there in Nigeria. We're global. We have a global audience, folks, and so proud and excited every single week that we have this opportunity. So again, feel free to hit that *6. I see Leslie Flowers is already on, but let me do this. I'm going to share a quick story. Talk about emotions. So I usually am up about 6 a.m. and preparing and getting my tea ready. I go out and I walk our dog, Yorkie, Chaya, and we get all that done. And I come in and I hear a beep. And what do you think that is? You can either write it in the comments or you hear this beep. And it seems like forever that it beeps again, because you want to know where it is. You know it's coming from an alarm, right? A smoke detector, but you're trying to isolate because you have many smoke detectors in your home, right? So listening, I'm looking directly at one. And next time I hear the beep, which seems to take forever, I realize it's not that one. And I go upstairs and it's right outside of my office, right outside of the office. And I'm thinking, oh no, I am not going. And have you ever talked to folks on the phone, or you've been on a Zoom and you hear the beep going in the background and your thinking is, why don't they go ahead and change the battery? And it may be a week later, you touch base with them again. And guess what? You hear the beeps again. And you're going, will you please change the battery? So I didn't want to have that for this call. And fortunately, I had a bag of batteries, the 9-volt. I went in and changed the battery. And guess what? I think I purchased that battery well over a year ago, or those batteries. So that didn't work. Now it's about 10 minutes before 7. And I'm going, I cannot have these beeps going while I'm doing this session. So I decided to get in the car and go to the supermarket, fortunately, which is around the corner. I get the battery, I come back, and I replaced the battery that I thought was new and was going to work, and listened and listened and listened, and we were okay. But what was I feeling during that period when I knew that we had an issue, and I didn't want that to interfere with our call this morning? So there was these feelings, a couple of those big negative emotions. One was embarrassment, right? Boy, if I do this session and folks hear that, they're going to say, oh my goodness, Stan, can you change your battery? So there's that loss of standing in the group. That's one of our 5 big negative emotions. And then there's that anxiety. It's like, oh my goodness, what are people going to think? So this fear of a future threat. Folks will think less of me because, I wouldn't just go ahead and change a battery, right? And I'm sure you've had that thought, those thoughts about folks. So 2 of the 5 big negative emotions were experienced as a result of that incident. And I caught myself actually taking deep breaths as I was going to the stores, because just always take those deep breaths, because you may not realize that you're at a heightened level of stress and anxiety when you're going through something. And then when you take the deep breaths, you go, oh my goodness, I'm actually calming myself down here. I didn't think that I was stressed as I was. So those are 2 of the 5 big negative emotions. The other 3 are anger, this belief that someone violated your rights; guilt, the belief that you violated someone else's rights; and of course, sadness, loss of a loved one, and loss of a job, some loss of health. So let's go. We got a couple of folks on. Let's go to Leslie Flowers first. Leslie, thank you for joining us. Mention where you're joining us from and your thoughts about those 5 big negative emotions. Welcome.
Thank you, Stanley. Calling here from just south of Raleigh, North Carolina. Big basketball fan. And I want to thank you, first of all, for sponsoring my Mind Over Matter show on Mondays. I forgot to say that last week. It really means a lot to me to have Power Thinking Corp on the screen every Monday to remind people that the app, I use it every week because I use the Power Thinking app when I am preparing for this show. And I watched the video twice.
Great.
So thank you for that. Moving over to the one of the 5 basic emotions, the last one, loss of love, maps to one of the 6 basic fears. So the reactions we have are an expression of the fear we have around something. In terms of anxiety, that is the fear of judgment and criticism, as you point out. Anxiety, and then I don't remember what was the first one. And no,
Is anger?
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So these things are the result of what you've been thinking all your life. All of this, and that video had one really super excellent point to start with, which is evaluating what were you thinking to begin with. So all these other coping mechanisms are great, right? But that assumes that you've reached the point where you can catch a trigger in midair. And this only happens, usually infrequently. So you have to be really intentional to recognize what's going on. Now, I'll tell you something that happened to me this morning. I have a 6 a.m. Eastern call with people from all over the world. It's lunchtime in some places and it's supper time in others, and I'm just waking up. And it was my turn to speak, and I had started having heart palpitations. Mm. Now, I take medicine for this, and they are very rare now. But the thing is, I know what to do, which is to regulate my breathing to reset my vagus nerve. So I said pass on this question until I can bring the palpitations down. So not only was I aware of this physical way of managing this particular physiological response to too much anxiety, thinking too much, right? And it was surprising. So I, passed my turn. Basically, though, these are expressions of fears, Emily, and fear is real. The trick is going to be to pick one of those coping mechanisms and start looking for when you're triggered. You knew, Stanley, because you practiced at this. I knew, right? Okay, what was I thinking that caused me to have heart palpitations? Because nothing's going on, right? Not really. My life is a good life, but I am responsible for what I'm thinking. So if people could simply catch it in midair and stop, think, and ask those questions, that is, I think, the place to start. What do you think? And thank you for letting me share, my friend.
Wonderful. I agree 100%. And we talk about this every week. And by the way, on your for your program, Leslie Flowers has on LinkedIn program on Mondays, Mind Over Matters, 11 a.m. To 12 a.m. And then she has Fridays, Think and Grow Rich. And she's studied this for years, certified in that training. That's Fridays at 11 a.m. And so, really appreciate the opportunity to sponsor the Monday program. Leslie, and thank you for being one of our app users. So you named it. The big thing first is awareness. And this is a skill, to be aware not only of the fact that you may be feeling something, But the video talked about it. What was the trigger? And being aware of what triggers those five big negative emotions, whatever they are, the anger, because you believe something or someone violated your rights, the guilt, the sadness, the embarrassment, anxiety, plenty of other negative emotions, but we focus on those five big ones. And in our survey, you go to LinkedIn, the Stanley Green page, posted it yesterday, or the day before yesterday. We already have over 70 votes on it. The big one, well, I won't mention what the big one is. You go ahead and vote. I'd love to see the results. But it's awareness. We have these skills that help us to bounce back from adversity faster, bounce back from these negative emotions. Because remember, we have 50,000 thoughts a day, 70 to 80% of those thoughts are negative. And we have 7 skills that will help us. And 2 of those skills are mentioned, pretty prominently in that video. One, and, you asked the question, what I think about, your go-to, it's my go-to as well. We talked about it, is taking those deep breaths. You just don't realize how powerful it is just to take, long, 6-second, inhaling a breath and then exhale for 6 seconds and continue to do that. You will notice a significant difference in how you feel. But first, you have to be aware that, there's something going on. So we have these 7 skills. Calming and focusing, I talked about deep breaths, is one of them. It's an action skill. So the first 3 skills, and I'm going to get to Olu and then Caroline in a second here. The first 3 of the 7 are awareness skills. We must be aware of the adversity that we're experiencing, the trigger. Like this morning, I had this adversity with that smoke detector to the point where I had to go out of the house, drive around the corner, go into the supermarket, and get a new battery because the 2 batteries I had were old. So it's learning the ABCs, the relationship between the adversities, what you believe about the adversity, which leads to one of those big negative emotions. Then the second awareness skill that helps us in our strengths of resilience, like emotion regulation, our number 1 inner strength of resilience, is avoiding the thinking traps, being aware of what is going on in our head. Are we beating ourselves up too much? Are we jumping to conclusions and resulting in a certain negative emotion like an anger or anxiety? Are we minimizing a positive and magnifying negative? And we won't go through all of them, but that's an awareness skill. We want to be skilled at being aware of what's happening to us. And this is what is not happening, I would say, with most of the population around the world. And then the third of the 3 awareness skills is detecting the icebergs. What are these deep-rooted beliefs that you have that you stand firm and you've had for many, many years, and you refuse to move away from them? But these beliefs, these iceberg beliefs operating below the surface, are actually hurting us. Then the action skills, challenging the beliefs, putting things in perspective. Remember the gratitude in the morning, 3 good things in the evening, the deep breaths, calming and focusing, and of course, real-time resilience. So just wanted to go through that. And let's go to some other folks here. We have next up is Olu. Olu, thanks for joining us. And by the way, we're going to have Caroline and then Greg Jones. Olu, thanks for joining us. Mention where you're joining us from and your thoughts about these 5 big negative emotions. Welcome. Uh-oh. Olu, go. Okay, you're unmuted. Go right ahead.
Hey, hi.
How are you?
Hear me?
Yes.
I'm good.
Good.
I hope I'm clear enough.
You're coming across pretty good.
Hello.
I think we can make it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So, it's always a pleasure to be here. I know I've always said that, and I'm going to keep saying it. I actually look forward to the event, and I'm aware of the 2 minutes. I'm going to try and put it all in 2 minutes. But I'm thinking it's important for me to mention how important this is for me. It's a Wednesday. I'm the only one in the office. Usually, if I was at home, working from home, also as usual, I'd be the only one at home because my kids would have gone to school. So having a storm to weekly, where people aren't talking about movies, music, and all of those general things that might not necessarily have an impact or a practical use in my life, is not as wonderful as this. When I come in here, I hear people of all ages and from different parts of the world, different professional backgrounds, different experiences in business, different levels, share their personal experiences, with how they've used resilience, to deal with some of the things that they have faced in their lives that are unexpected and unforeseen. One thing that I've learned for a fact is that over the course of the years that I've been coming into the space, I found out that I've become relatively...
Oh, I think we may have lost you there. You said relatively. Hopefully you come back there, Olu. Keep talking, and if we can't finish, then we'll move on, and then you can come back in, maybe by disconnecting and then coming back in. Oh, there you go.
Kind of like a habit, it's become a part of me. Yes. I don't get so faced like I used to be with anxiety coming in, panic setting in, and all of that. Even when I have some of the same issues, like I used to. And that even came before I was able to get to the position that I am in now, which is more unassailable and stronger. So emotions is kind of like a candle blowing in the wind. That is the idea that came to me immediately I saw the topic. It's going to burn faster, It's not going to last as long as it will compared to if it had a shade. When it has a shade, it gives out its light, to the environment, and then it burns gradually because the wind, is not blowing it and making it just blow all over the place, even reducing the actual light that it gives. So for me, as much as we all talk about emotional intelligence and all of that, which I understand to be that we should try as much as we can to interact with our emotions and try and make sure that they're positive ones, or if they're negative ones, we try and channel them, to positive outcomes. It's a real struggle, kind of like being in a rodeo. That's another visual that comes to mind. It's a real struggle. It's a real struggle because I realize that it's like many of us have been raised without that awareness, and then getting to grasp with it now and doing that. It's kind of like, riding a bull and then trying to control it. We'll get better. Yes. And that is why I'm more faced, because it's a weekly reminder for me, Immediately after the events, my thoughts,
Yeah. Oh, you're breaking up a little, Olu, but we got the point. So always great to have you. Yeah, you're breaking up, Olu. So hey, look, always great to have you, and thanks for that. And the important thing is, what Olu was mentioned, he's from Lagos, Nigeria, joining us from Lagos, where it's the afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. There is coming in every week, because whether you know it or not, you're practicing the skills just by being here. Because remember, 3 of the 7 skills are awareness skills, making you more aware. And the more you hear it, the more aware you will be. So, Olu, thank you for joining us. And we're going to go next to Caroline. Caroline, how are you? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining us. Mention where you're joining us from and your thoughts about these 5 big negative emotions. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Stanley. Good morning, Power Thinking family. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm sort of kind of making my way into my new role. It's been a few months.
Great.
And funny, yeah. So it's different, you know. It's very different, but it's a challenge, and I love it. I like it. I said I love it. I like it. I definitely like it. I like the team and everything. So
Good.
Interesting that this topic came up, but I said, oh, I have to join Power Thinking this morning because I have a couple of minutes, and it's right on point as to kind of what I'm feeling, especially as related to this new role. And I know about the breathing, I do it sometimes, but of course I'm aware of it. I know to do it. I was just reading something yesterday about 4 seconds in and holding it for 4 and breathing out. And
Sure.
Absolutely it helps bring down the temperature. But recently in this new role, I'm catching myself feeling anxious and a little, what's the word? In a sales position, we have territories, and there's this, without going into details, I don't want to say clashing, not at all, but noticing, someone keeps swinging into my territory when it was clear, like stay in your territory. And it's interesting because the person that I'm referring to is a very nice person, but yesterday I sent a message like, hey, you want to get together? And because I like to reach out, I'm new at this, so I want to really learn from the best. And I love that, right? You want to be, in a part of a community and learn and all that. And so I've been finding myself feeling a little anxious lately about this person in particular across the country, totally across, California versus, and I apologize, I'm calling from Long Island, New York. Mm-hmm. So I'm East Coast, West Coast, but I'm noticing my feelings lately is like, hey, why does she keep doing this or that type of thing? And of course I reach out and say, hey, whatever I need to say. So, but I'm noticing myself, especially yesterday as well, just like I said, this is perfect timing. I'm getting a little, anxious more about it, like saying, wait a minute, I'm just going to reach out, that type of thing. So I feel like you're right. I mean, of course, you're always right, Stanley. I mean, you have to be aware of it and you have to catch it. I think Leslie said too, you have to really catch it in process. So I made a decision yesterday. Just move on, Caroline. Just keep going. Don't get upset about this. I'm trying to talk to myself out loud to say it's not worth it. It's not worth it to get upset about it. Everything's fine. Nice people and all that, but it's a different feeling, because I'm in a totally different role. It's bringing up a lot of different things on how to deal with certain things, and it's bringing out maybe a little bit of the competitive side of me. And I'm like, no, I have to keep going, got to keep moving. Mm-hmm. Whereas I'm a little bit more laid back, really, I'm more of a much more laid back person. But I have to, I'm thrust into this new role, so I have to have new, mechanisms to cope,
Sure.
And so this was a perfect topic for me today to really put things in perspective, keep moving forward, not worry about anything, and just keep moving forward and doing what I need to do, and not have those feelings build up in me, and to stop, breathe. So really perfect timing, Stanley. I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you, Caroline. And again, congratulations. And you're going to get to the point where you love that job. And that's going to be part of it is going to be, recognizing how to deal with these situations and reaching out. I think you talked about reaching out to this person. Reach out, have that meeting, and don't make it a phone call. Make it a Zoom where you can actually see each other and you're aware of the thinking traps, right? Where you jump into conclusions about something perhaps, and that's what's driving that stress and anxiety. And of course, you're calming yourself down. But the other thing, and it was mentioned in the video, in addition to calming yourself down, examine your thinking. What are those traps that you're falling into, like jumping to conclusion, maybe magnifying this and making it a mountain out of a molehill, minimizing the positives about the job? It's a thinking trap. Mind reading, thinking what the other person's thinking. Oh, I'm going to really, take over Caroline's responsibilities or territory. So you're doing a great job, and most of all, thanks for plugging in, folks. For those of you who are with us and have to leave, Thank you for joining us. Hope you make it a fantastic day. And remember, since we spend all of our time thinking, we must think with power and utilize power thinking. We're going into overtime as we go to Greg Jones next. Greg, thank you for joining us. Mention where you're joining us from and your thoughts about these 5 big negative emotions and how to regulate them. Welcome.
Hi, good morning to all Power Thinking family, and I just wanted to share for a few minutes and echo what the last caller mentioned about the perfect timing. I have an 8-year-old grandson, and I'm trying to help him with his emotion regulation. I guess that's what it is, right? And in the process, and this is just last night, because yesterday he's a taekwondo student, so he did his taekwondo session during the day, and then at night he's playing football. This is his first time in practice. I mean, real practice with the shoulder pads and with all the equipment on. And these coaches were just, he's an 8-year-old, but they had him running. They really had him, drilling for the first time. So, one of the things that I do, and I did watch the video, is I get him to exhale, especially when he gets really hyper and emotional on certain things. And especially sometimes with his interactions with his sister and his brother, he gets kind of hyped up. So I say, he has the same name as me, and so let's exhale. Let's take a moment, exhale, and then let's inhale, and then let's exhale. So we may do this about 3 or 4 times.
Nice. Just
to kind of, as you said earlier, just kind of settle in and regulate. And whatever the circumstance or situation is, not be so hyper and so driven by it, and kind of bring it back down to a place where we can have a conversation about it. And this is an 8-year-old, and so just imagine adults who are in really tense interactions and situations and circumstances that don't have, the word you use was awareness. This is a word my wife used to use all the time, which I didn't really like, but I got used to it, which was consciousness. So her word was consciousness. Your word was awareness, but it's both in the same vein.
Yes.
And when you don't have the awareness or the consciousness or the fortitude to understand or to regulate or to manage your emotions, your words, your thoughts, your interactions, there's no telling which way it can go. And a lot of times, because we start out with, as you've taught us, 50,000 thoughts, which the majority are negative, if you don't develop any type of regulation skills at all, especially with those thoughts coming in and out of your head, it can be a very, very long day. It could be a very, very long week. It can be a very, very long month. So, I think, this whole exercise and idea, which goes back to discipline, and the 3 concepts in the video are very, very important in terms of regulation and management. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
With the group today.
Thank you.
My brother Calvin Patterson would say, I am complete.
Wonderful. Greg, thank you for sharing. Greg, you do so much wonderful work with young people, and not only folks in the community, young folks in the community, but certainly your own children and grandchildren. And you bring those stories up, and I'm so grateful. Now, LinkedIn user, unfortunately, the name didn't come across, and it says LinkedIn user, so maybe you can type your name in, and I put this person's comment on the screen. And it's, thanks so much, Stanley, meant to say the video isn't just for kids. It's for all of us to use those skills. Great to see you. So great to see you too. Thank you very much for that. And I want to thank you all for your comments as we close this down. The most important element of emotion regulation is being aware of what's going on and what is triggering it, so that you don't have to respond to those triggers the way you have in the past. You may still have that emotion, that feeling, but it may not be intense because you know where it's coming from. You know that an associated thought is perhaps you're jumping to conclusions about something without any evidence, any number of those 8 different thinking traps. But again, it's awareness and then taking the necessary action. So I see that person here identified themselves. That was from me. Caroline, oh, it was from you. Good job, Caroline. Thank you very much. And thanks for joining us. And again, congratulations on the new job. So everyone, thank you very much for staying overtime. We're going to go to our phone lines and thank our folks there for joining. I see Francine Hampton, one of our new members. Thank you for joining us. And Carla and Claudia. And I see wireless caller, Farrell Dub, and Marie and Dr. Ekman. I know you got your patients coming up. So thank you, Peg Kowalski and Caroline, Greg, and Kenneth Boyd, another new member. Thank you, Olu and Layla, Llewellyn, others. Appreciate you all. Make it a fantastic day, and hopefully we'll see you again this evening. Take care, everyone. Appreciate you. Have a great morning. Take care. All right, and on LinkedIn, I want to acknowledge that many of the folks who have joined us, and I didn't say anything about our app to our folks on the phone line. Folks who are with us, our app is just doing amazing things. We're pushing notifications, micro learnings throughout the course of the day. You have an opportunity to access what we do through the app. But as importantly, there's an assessment, a power thinking assessment that you can take where you can find out where you are on your own emotion regulation. Are you above average, below average, average? There's impulse control, empathy, self-efficacy, optimism, causal analysis, and reaching out. You'll find out where you are in those areas. So make sure you pick it up because it's only $9.99 a month. It used to be double the price. And folks who have already have the app and are paying $20, it's going to automatically reduce if you're on iPhone. If you're Android, just contact me. We'll cancel the other. And you can actually get the annual rate at just $59.99, and you're done for the year. But many, many benefits. Again, appreciate each and every one of you for being with us. I'm going to go through and mention the folks who have joined us here on LinkedIn. Take the poll, by the way. Go to the poll, one of my previous posts. So Leslie joined us. Andre Bright, appreciate you. Blessing. So Andre's from Toronto. Blessing from, Andre is from, got to get that here, from London and Nigeria for Blessing. And we have Caroline and of course, Leslie from North Carolina, Sheep from Toronto, Lisa Fabic, who is in the Caribbean, right? I believe Trinidad, and we had also Olu, Natasha Charles. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, and appreciate you all for being with us on this beautiful Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll see you this evening at 9:30 p.m. Make it a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you soon.